We're gonna open with prayer and pledge. Prayer by Brother Richard Kaiser, pledge by Mason Keeble. All right.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I'm moving right along to item 2, recognition and presentation. Mr. Petty.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Today we have, it's always a bittersweet thing when somebody retires. They take with them, usually many years of institutional knowledge that is invaluable to, the school where they work and the job that they perform. Many of the times they've gone through different roles and responsibilities at the school, so it's even more bittersweet because you lose that. But we are excited at the other side of that. The sweet part is we get to see them enjoy the fruit of their labor. And we have two great pillars of our school system that have retired, and we want to recognize them tonight. This is such a small token of our appreciation, but recognition of their retirement. And so we hope that after the mandated FRS, is it 6 months or a year, whatever, you got to lay out. If you want to come back and volunteer, you can volunteer now anytime. You just can't pay you. But if you'd come back and want to sub or something, we'd sure be honored to have you come back and be a part of our system. But you're always welcome in the Liberty County school system. So I'm going to start with the first one, since just because there's more years there, only by a year, is Miss Kathy Hayes. Miss Kathy, come on up. So I've asked her principal, Miss Rebecca Brown, to come up. Now, Miss Rebecca's new at Toller. Some of y'all may not know her, but she's our new principal at Toller. I've known Kathy Hayes, I guess, pretty much my whole life. And so she's a fixture at Toller, been at Hosford. So I'm going to let Miss Rebecca talk a little bit about her and then give her plaque. Miss Brown.
So we just want to take a moment to recognize someone very special at Toller. Miss Kathy Hayes is retiring after 24 wonderful years at Toller is what I hear. I've only known her for a short time, but it was very apparent that she has been the steady positive presence in the school, not just in the library, but just in general. She always has a smile. She's always so very helpful, and she always can give you just the right book. Because while working in the library, has made the biggest impact on the kids. I've only been there for about a month with her, and you could tell that every kid who came in there, she knew their names, she loved on them. And it was really kind of cool because Miss Kathy was actually the very first person other than Mr. Jeff that I got to meet when I came to Toller. And I walked in, and as soon as I got there, she says, "Oh, I have something for you." And she gave me Brown Bear, because my last name is Brown. And she wrote a little note in there and said, you know, welcome and thank you. And she knew she was leaving at that point, and she still made it a point to give me that. And I keep it right there on my bookshelf where I can always see it, and I always smile a little when I get to see it. So that made a big impact on me. So I can only imagine what kind of impact you have made over the past 24 years. We're going to miss you more than probably any speech could ever say, and we're excited for you to get to enjoy all the things that come. You've made a lasting mark, and you'll always be part of the Toller family. Oh.
Get a picture there.
You're in trouble, Doobie.
I thought one of their told me we had a party told me.
What?
I'm talking about your to-do list.
Speech.
Speech?
Got it, Dave?
No, Ruby did, but
Just in case you phone.
prepared. I just want to thank everyone that's ever been there for me, through everything that I've been through for the last 3 years. I just appreciate all the prayers, concerns, and everything, and I just appreciate all the superintendents, all the principals, all the school board members, everybody. I mean, there's a bunch that I've been through, and I just I appreciate everything that y'all have ever done for us. Appreciate it.
Congratulations. Really thank Kathy too. One thing I'm gonna say, and I said this about Mary Flowers, she's been the librarian. She, and I called Mary my kidney out there. She filtered the bad stuff out, and it's amazing. Kathy and I had numerous conversations with different book fairs and stuff that want to come in and indoctrinate, and I appreciate you being a kidney to keep that stuff out of our schools, and I appreciate that. Next one, Becky Black. Come on up, Becky. 7 years ago. No, I won't do that one. I've known Becky a long time, ever since she moved to Hosford. Hugh and I were in music ministry together, and got acquainted with Becky early on. I was very blessed to be a groomsman in her and Hugh's wedding. And we've done a lot of ministry together. We've been in Tennessee together with young'uns, and have just done some wonderful things together. But she has been a fixture for Hosford School. She retires as a guidance counselor there, which is dear to my heart, and does a wonderful job. Also being a kidney and holding kids accountable and holding parents accountable sometimes. You know, they need to be held accountable as well to make sure that they do their part. And I appreciate Becky. So I'm going to ask her principal, Miss Stephanie, who has worked with Becky for probably all of these years, to come in and share a few things. Stephanie.
Feel like the kindergarten kid on the first day of school and the mom's leaving the classroom and, you know, just kind of grabbing her and not letting her.
Mom doesn't want to leave either.
My goodness. I've had the privilege to learn from you so much. She has been, you have been a coworker. And then as I moved from teacher to guidance myself, you were a mentor. I have been blessed to be able to learn from you so many valuable lessons, learn how to approach difficult situations with students, with coworkers, even with parents. You have this special gift, and I wish I had it. I've tried to emulate it, but you have a special way of saying things that need to be said in a way that is loving and kind and unoffensive. You know, that sometimes those hard conversations are difficult, but you've always made it look so easy. And I've tried to take under those things that I've learned from you and apply that as I've, you know, as I've worked with kids and had to conduct my own meetings. Becky is our prayer warrior at Hosford School. You have prayed with me and other teachers and over our school so many times, and those prayers I know have been answered, and I know you will continue to pray for us, and that's what I love about you. When she had her retirement celebration, I said, I know you have a direct line to our Father in heaven, and I have no doubt in that. And the way you have brought that light into Hosford School has made a huge impact. So we are going to miss you, but I know you'll be back. She's already promised to volunteer to help with testing and proctor, and you know, who knows what's going to happen in 6 months. But I know we always have you there to help us.
And has had you this
Well, I've learned from the best.
Congratulations.
See, can I be short and sweet like Kyle Petty on a Sunday morning?
Easy.
I won't follow that pattern, but anyway, yeah, I started in, kindergarten, no, second grade. I was a second grade aide to Miss Linda Bontrager when our daughter went into preschool. Never imagining, never wanted to teach, never had that inclination. But when they asked me to teach, I fell in love with it. And the first year I taught, it was third grade, and it was the first year that third grade had the FSA, what do they call it, FCAT back then. And I'm like, are you sure you want to put me in third grade, Miss Jill? And she did. I loved it. That's the only grade I stayed in for teaching, and then moved into guidance, which was really the core of my heart too. But it has been difficult, but it's been a blessing. And I couldn't have asked for a better place to work, for better people to work with. I'm so happy for Toller and for the high school, but Hosford is the best. And I will come back in some form or another. The other day when I was boxing up stuff, I'd look at a book and go, oh, that needs to be read to second grade. This one, third grade. So I'm gonna be back. So volunteer, but it's been a blessing to me, and I'm happy and excited that I'm retiring. But I will miss it too, no doubt. I'm the mama holding on to the kids. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
This time we're gonna take a little short recess. Stay with us, that's fine if you need to. Appreciate y'all coming.
Thank y'all for coming.
Thank you. Congratulations.
With his wife?
Yeah.
Doobie, do you want a picture with your wife? Ain't nothing like calling it now.
Look after us, right?
Look at the, how many, if that's it, if ours will only back.
Really happy for you.
Thank you, thank you. I haven't. Thought of it.
That is good, thanks.
Girl.
All right, moving right along. Item 3, public comment. We didn't have any. Moving on to item 4, superintendent report, Mr. Petty.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Excuse me. Jeff and I met with our principals and assistant principals this morning. We will have meetings throughout the summer, obviously, but we try to give them a week off at least to kind of decompress from the end of the school year. So we met this morning. We're working on plans for the 25-26 school year. A lot of plans we've already, been talking about, but just kind of give you an update where we are on job openings. Liberty County High School needs one teacher, Hosmer needs a teacher, and Toller needs 3. And these have been, I think that's the latest numbers, but there's already candidates for these. They're interviewing now. And we're pretty sure we'll have those filled by next week. Really good candidates for those jobs, and it doesn't mean somebody else may not quit before the school starts, but at least by this point, we've got those positions covered. We did talk about open house dates, and those will be finalized as well. And we'll do those in the evening to accommodate our parents and family. Forest money update, as I stated, I sent y'all an email, I guess, a week or so ago. Our forest money, that bill was originally filed in February, and it just sat there. But it did get attached to an ag bill, which it has before. It's been on a military bill before, but it's usually an ag bill. It has passed the House of Representatives last week. It is part of the bit you've heard in the news, the big beautiful bill. It's in there. So there's a lot of spending in there, and that's part of it. I'm sure there's some pork in there, but our forest money is not one of it. So anyway, the Senate, I know that they're trying to secure the votes for that. It seems to be the issue with the forest money is nonpartisan, but the big beautiful bill has become quite partisan. So there's a narrow margin in the Senate. So I'm sure as soon as they feel like they've got the votes, they'll go ahead and vote on that. We're being told, our Forest Coalition, we've been texting and emailing each other back and forth. We think could be the end of this week, could be next week. But they said no later than July the 4th. But I think as soon as they get the votes, they'll call a vote and probably vote on that. And then that is a 3-year extension of that, which is a blessing. We've had some 3-year extensions in the past. We've had some 1-year extensions. Those 3 years sure helps us with that. Our coalition meeting, while we were up there doing that, that's when it got, attached to an ag bill. And I think that was just made for a huge success up there. Our legislative update, if you've been keeping up with the Chris Doolin emails, does everybody get Chris Doolin's emails? You should. He's our small district consortium lobbyist. I'll be at a breakfast with him Thursday morning down in Tampa. He's a really good guy, and he keeps you really abreast of the happenings. Everything's been quiet between the Senate and between the House, but they have been conferencing, and in that they conference anyway, but it's almost like there was probably some middle stuff that didn't happen, but they have been conferencing, which is fine. That means they're working on the budget, and that's where the tweaking happens. So after last week, our school bus appropriation request was agreed on by both the House and Senate. Originally, it was only in the House. It was not in the Senate, so that got put in there under K-12 appropriations in case you start looking at some of those links that he sends you. Sometimes it can be a little hard to find. What was missing, though, this weekend was after last Friday was the track restoration. It was originally in the Senate. So I went to a wedding on Saturday, and I saw Dusty, and Dusty said they just got put in on Friday evening, their extra $3 million for the jail, which I know they were desperately trying to get. And then all of a sudden the track was missing, and I went, I didn't know if that was, if we're going to give Liberty County some money, but they're going to have to sacrifice something. So I was really worried about that. So I got on the phone with Patrick Bell on Sunday. We talked most of the day yesterday. Senator Simon was able to get it under PICO. PICO stands for Public Education Capital Outlay, which is a lot of their construction, building type funds, fixed capital outlay. So as of today, we have both of those appropriation requests, and the jail's got their money, which is a real blessing. It's a win for the county. It's a win for the school board. Now, I put on there, I'm scared of the governor's veto pen. I will tell you, I found out today after I printed this, one of the things, if you've been keeping up with the governor, he's trying to do away with all property tax. Have y'all been hearing some of that? One of his proposals was for fiscally constrained counties, which we are one of, that the state would give us our money back. that we would lose. I think our ad valorem taxes for the county, is it about 3 million? Do you know, Mason? I think it's about it's about $3 million that they would subsidize that. So the people in Liberty County wouldn't pay property tax, but the state would give that, it's just a proposal now. What the governor's talking about doing. Everybody's gonna move to Liberty County if that's the case. You come up here, build you $1 million house and you ain't gotta pay property tax because you're in Liberty County and fiscally constrained county. That could have a bad effect for Liberty County in a lot of ways. So anyway, I don't think that would fly, but those are conversations that are happening. And to me, that's kind of a way out there idea. So his veto pen, ain't no telling what he's gonna do. There's still bad blood between him and Senator Albritton, President Albritton, and then House Speaker, I think it's Perez out of Miami. So anyway, just kind of, we'll watch and wait. Patrick's been keeping me updated. We've talked today and everything right now is in there, so I'm very blessed. I will say this, and I told Renee this today. Patrick Bell's worth every penny we pay him. I'm just telling you, I'm telling you, I'm telling you. I've not always felt that way as a board member, but I just was ignorant of the fact of exactly what they do and how they do it. I knew what they did. I didn't know quite how they do it. Patrick Bell's got some great, great connections and he's phenomenal at what he does. So that's an extra 370,000 secured, as of yesterday. So very blessed about that. Let me roll on. Graduations were good. Had two great kindergarten graduations, one at Hosford, one at Toller, and then our high school graduation. Lots of preparation goes into those events. I know that we had to move everything inside, and that was just one of those things that it was like, I started watching the weather on Sunday, and there were a few people that complained about it. We didn't want to have to do it on the inside, but I'd rather be wrong about the weather on the inside than be wrong about it on the outside. And, even the day of, it was, 65% chance at 8 o'clock. It was the right call. It flooded about 4:30, and we'd have had everything set up. We'd had to move it. We'd had wet bleachers, so it was the right call. We'll just keep each year kind of evaluating that, but we kind of done some note taking afterwards. We probably could have got another 120 seats and chairs in there, and we had about 60 people standing. So most people were able to sit down and watch graduation, but I'm very thankful for all the preparation and the tear down afterwards. Everything got torn down afterwards and put away, and we had some people donate chairs. I know LDS Church donated some chairs for us. Our church did. So we had a bunch of people that helped donate and make that a real successful event at the high school. Football field house update. Ceilings are up. Interior lights installed. 3/4 of the interior paint is complete. Same color as the softball field house. About 2 weeks. Talked to the electricians from Culpeper today. He said it was about 2 weeks. Could be a little quicker if he could spend a little more time there. All the high vac compressors are on pads. Sewer work, they've dug that out. I saw that today. And July 31st is the completion date. That's what's projected. And Kyle Rogers said they'll be done by then. Would encourage you to go over there and look, kind of see all the progress. There is a lot of progress being made. We have 3 staff members who started guardian training last Monday, which was June the 2nd. I'm really proud of their commitment to providing additional protection for our students and staff. All of our existing guardians will be returning for the 25-26 school year, except for one who took a job outside the district. So I'm very, very, very proud of those people who are willing to serve in that very, very important role for our safety of our staff and our kids. I'll be leaving tomorrow for the Florida School Board Association FADS Summer Conference for the rest of the week. Primarily, my day is on Thursday. We start with a breakfast about 7 o'clock in the morning with Chris Doolin's group. I'm on that executive committee, and we'll go all day long. So, and we'll finish with a PAEC supper, not PAEC supper that evening. I'd mentioned to y'all in an email, I'll be at DMTC training. Ricky serves in that role, but they require us to have a backup. So I'll be his backup for that, but I've got to go through some training. And then at the end of that week on Friday and Thursday, Friday and Saturday, it'll be just missing one day of work. Jeff and I'll be taking some kids on a church youth conference, but we'll both be accessible by phone if you need us. we need to have, number 8, we need to have a final fiscal year school board meeting on Monday, June 30th. We do this every year. We'll do it in the morning, if that's okay with y'all, to close the year, any kind of budget amendments or something to kind of close the year. The month of June is like the bottom end of a funnel. They run multiple payrolls, and I know that Katie is swarmed right now in her office. So they'll have everything kind of closed out for that. I would like to schedule a workshop to discuss budget and buses after the meeting. So I don't think that'll take too long, but just after the meeting, we'll do that. What I want to ask you to do is, if you've got some areas of concern that you'd like the district to address, let us know that. And you can share those in advance. You don't have to wait till then to tell me. If it's something that we need to do some research on, or we need to have some material ready, we'll try to have that ready for that meeting. That'll save us some time, and hopefully we can get some things done. And then hopefully by then, maybe this budget from the state, we'll have a little closer idea of what we have to work with. We still, obviously don't have the state budget signed, and we're still waiting on kind of what some numbers are going to look like. Trim meeting dates, Katie sent these, I think Monday or last week. I can't remember which day. I think it was last week. Trim meeting dates, tentative budget hearing July the 28th, and the final budget hearing on September the 18th. Probably the September meeting, we'll just combine that with our regular school board meeting. I think we usually do that. It's a little later, but we try to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. We'll have that public hearing and then go right in, if that's okay with the board. We got enough time to figure that out as well, but if that's okay with y'all, we'll do like we usually do. I'm gonna skip number 10. I'm gonna go to number, I wrote a couple things that came in afterwards. Number 1, I wrote a grant with the Florida the Department of State for historical preservation for the Hosford roof. And so that was turned in on June. Well, I turned it in. It was due June 2nd, but I did it the Friday before it was due on Monday. So that's been turned in. We have $81,000 in insurance proceeds. I asked for an additional $244, which would give us about $325 for the roof repair over there. And we've asked them to be a bit what I've kind of told them what our scenarios were, and asked them for their guidance. But the main thing I'm asking them for is some money. That will be a competitive grant. The team for doing that is actually those right there, Katie and Kevin and Jeff and I. We'll do a presentation. I'll probably take the lead in that and do a little presentation, slideshow. You have to kind of sell that. I've been a part of that before on something, and went over there years ago with Jill and Sue and David. And so we'll have to do a little presentation, and they will score those. And then they'll decide how many, the legislature will determine how many they want to fund. So there could be anywhere but 60 to 80 projects, and they may fund 40 of them or 30 of them or none of them, but typically they fund some.
Were the chimneys included in that
Oh, yeah.
historical preservation grant? So it's the roof, like
Everything.
new roof, chimneys. Gotcha.
Everything, correct.
What was decided, and I know it had been discussed even before I was on the board, floors for the gym, were they staying the same? Was that put in? Was that something that was?
I didn't put anything in that for that.
It was strictly the roof structure, basically, and the chimneys. Okay.
Yeah.
Just on that one building too, not the roof on the gym.
You're right. Just the one building.
Main
Just the one building.
Yeah.
And basically, my argument was that the tin got damaged on the backside, and in doing that, you want the tin to match. Kevin had a great idea. What if you put the tin on the front, on the back, and then just redo the front? It's not gonna match. So they're real big on historical value, things looking right, looking good, and they've got money to do it with. Plus looking at the other chimneys, some of them need strengthening. We gotta replace one. Is it easier to do a facade? Would they, all the flashing, if you're keeping what you got, how those need to be repaired. There are engineering services in there that they said they offer as part of that. Would we want that? And I said, absolutely. We'll take everything that you'll give us. So anyway, that's all part of that grant. Second thing under that, and then I'll come back to number 10. We had one of our former district employees die, Miss Linda Edenfield, over in Taloja. She passed away this morning. I got word. So, Dana died, her daughter, who worked at Toller. Miss Linda worked at the county office for umpteen years. I don't know how many. Well, she worked at Hosford School when I was a student. That's how long ago it was. But then she retired from the district office. And so when I got elected, she was working up here and did my ID. When we first started doing ID badges, I remember she did mine. So did all the fingerprinting and stuff like that. So her husband's Mr. Rubin. I think most of y'all know Mr. Rubin. So y'all remember them in your prayers. And then lastly, don't need a commitment for this, and I'm being a little presumptuous in putting this on here, but for the last couple years, we've had our school board family fish fry at Jason's, and I appreciate him and Miss Michelle hosting. If they can't this year, that's okay. We'll find another spot, but they just do it right, you know.
We can.
Okay, is that okay?
Yeah, I got to check with Daddy, but
Okay. Yeah, check with your tenant. If that's something y'all would like to do, I would like to continue doing that, and we can just, we get together and eat fellowship. We don't talk school business, but we did have some prayer time for the school, and I appreciate y'all being a part of that, and it's good eating and good fellowship. But as before, we can't talk school business. This is just fellowship time, and bring our spouses. So anyway, that's that, and I'll get with y'all closer to time. Maybe give y'all some dates to pick from and work with Jason, find out what day is good for him. Make sure everybody can be there, so. Mr. Chairman?
Thank you, Mr. Petty. Moving right along to item number 5, additions, corrections to the agenda. Need a motion to approve, add, emergency item 10A and B. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Jody, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Mason. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item B, need a motion to approve additions or corrections to consent item 8C. Have a motion?
motion.
Mr. Morris, second. Second, Mr. Singletary. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 6, need a motion to approve agenda for June 10th, 2025. Have a motion?
Motion.
Mr. Mason, any, have a second?
Second.
Second, Ms. Jody. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to item 7. Approve minutes. Item A, need a motion to approve May 13th, 2025 regular meeting minutes.
Motion.
Motion, which one?
Terry.
Mr. Singletary, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Morris. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, item B, need a motion to approve May 27th, 2025 special meeting minutes. Motion?
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Jody, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Singletary. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, item A, consent item. Item A, need a motion to approve May 2025 financial reports and transactions. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Morris, second.
Second.
Second, Ms. Jody. Any discussion?
Yeah, I do have a question pertaining to financials. Katie, have you gotten to the point yet where you can tell where we're sitting pretty solid for the end of this fiscal year? As far as where we're gonna look profitability wise or not? Okay. So in other words, it's probably gonna be the 30th then, that you know that point? So, I guess because I'm new to this, the 30th though, is that the final budget resolutions, things like that we'll go through? Mm-hmm,
We're complete with that
yep,
report and all that stuff.
gotcha.
Won't run any more payrolls in the fiscal year, but for the,
Mm-hmm.
and then we can.
Yeah, how many days do we have with the district to close after the 30th? September,
Auditors will be here.
gotcha, okay.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, item B, need a motion to approve the transfer of one instructional position from Hospital Elementary and Junior High to W.R. Toller School effective July the 1st, 2025. Motion?
Motion.
Singletary, second.
Second.
Ms. Jody, any discussion?
Yeah, Mr. Petty.
Yes, ma'am.
What exactly, what's going on with this one, with the transfer?
Adding a kindergarten position.
Oh, okay. Yep. Okay, good. No more
So to
questions.
fill a kindergarten position, is that what you're saying, that total?
Now, what-
I'm sorry, I missed that.
It's to fill the kindergarten position, is what you're saying?
It's
That
to,
transfer of the instruction?
yes, to add one,
Yeah.
to add
So
one.
it's a plus one, not.
Plus
a
one.
Plus one.
Correct, correct.
Now, when we're transferring the position, so we're taking it from Hosford, where are we taking it out of I mean,
Linda Bell's, was it?
what grade was it?
It was one of them. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. No, their numbers were
We're not
down.
pulling anything really, but the position.
Correct.
Another position, okay.
Correct. We're just,
Then-
we're just changing a unit, what
Okay,
we
so
call a
then
unit.
it'll have to be advertised. When this is approved, then it'll have to be advertised.
Correct.
Is there a reason why we didn't put it on the agenda, just to go ahead and advertise it?
Well, we usually don't, if it's open, we don't have to.
Oh, okay. Do what?
It's not a new
I'm saying-
position.
But I know, so are we moving a body or person, or we're gonna have to hire?
We're gonna have to hire.
So we're gonna have to advertise it.
Right. So if we,
Okay,
Yeah.
okay. So we don't have to go back on the agenda for, okay. That's my
anything that's
question.
already there,
Mhm.
or as far as positions, we just advertise.
Okay, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just,
That's a good question. No, no, no.
two birds with one stone
Yeah,
here.
I had a question as well, just to make sure I'm understanding this. So in your report, you said, LCHS needs an instructional position, Hosford needs an instructional position, and Toller needs 3. So this one from Hosford that's moving, we're gonna be filling or adding another to Hosford?
No, there's, sorry, excuse me. Still got an opening, you still got an opening over there.
Okay, so we're not adding a position, we're filling someone that's no longer there in that opening position,
Correct.
is what you're telling me?
Correct.
Okay. Understood. Okay, so movement of a position and addition of a person, those are the two things that we're talking about, correct? You said there's one position needed in the hospital, you're talking about a person, not like an additional instructional position. Okay. And this is based on the preliminary counter numbers that we're seeing. So if we're, so then what are our numbers looking like then? Are we looking like we are staying level with numbers, but just maybe there's a movement of kids from one school to another preliminarily?
So you do a couple things. You look at what you finished the year with, and, second graders become third graders. So that gives you an idea. And then you have open enrollment, which we had towards the end of the year, and you start getting, requests. Somebody from Hosford won't go to Toller go to Hosford. And so once you calculate all that, then we get in the office and we start looking at what's our staffing needs. So we base on that. Now, if you have an influx of students come in, then you have to reevaluate. Or if you're at a higher mark that you feel like, well, if we get 2 more students, then we're busting at the seams there. You have to be prepared on contingencies for that. So, you have, sorry, y'all, I'm struggling with my voice, but if you had 20 second graders show in, that's a class. Then you're gonna have to advertise. So I know we've got a bunch of kids, they joined there's a bunch of homeschool kids, not from here. They showed up at Bible school last week with us, and they are in 21st century now. So when they came to church, they're not from here, but every one of them's homeschooled. And we kind of got to know them, and we didn't use that to recruit them, but they just, they realized there was a bunch of teachers there, and Jeff and I were there. So they showed up at 21st century, probably going to get those, as well. So we try to kind of plan around that as well.
So this adjustment then has to do with a grade level movement of a child, not necessarily a number count of kids that's still pending, right? You know that kids are moving up in grades or moving
Correct.
over from schools.
It's the most accurate.
On what you, right. So we won't know counts until it's gonna be a little
August.
bit before we know.
Yeah. Now, that's not necessarily true. You may have some kids that, schools are open now. You could have kids transfer in, you could have kids transfer out. Say, hey, we're moving to Georgia, so I need a withdrawal form. They could do that. Or you may have some saying, look, we moved to the area and we're wanting to go to Hosford School. We want to go to Toller School or even the high school. So that could change in the summer.
But what we know, we're steady at this point, given time.
Yeah,
Steady and
I'm anticipating some growth. I know we talked today, I mean, we've heard some homeschool kids are coming back,
Question, we talked about this position going to when we get it at Toller, going to kindergarten? You say kindergarten?
Yes, ma'am.
I know last year's kindergarten was now that class is going up. So what's gonna happen to our first
They'll have-
grade?
They'll have 4.
Okay, they got enough to,
Correct.
okay, so we got 4 up there, we got now 3. Well, 4, we'd have
The
4.
kindergarten go from 3 to 4, first grade up, have already. have
Okay, okay, so we're set. We're not gonna have that big, okay.
Right.
All right, done, thank you.
Awesome.
All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Opposed, motion carried. Moving on to item C, approve update supplement list. Need a motion to approve 2024-25 update supplement list with additions and corrections. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Keeper, second, Ms. Jody. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item D, need a motion to approve June 2025 personnel consent table. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Keeper, second. Second, Singletary, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
uh,
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item E. Need a motion to approve the 2025-26 personal, list. Need a motion?
Motion.
Keeper, second.
Second.
Jody, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Any opposed? Motion. Number 9, action item. Item A, need a motion to approve agreement between the School Board of Liberty County and Gold Star Private Academy. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Moore, second.
Second.
Second, Ms. Jody, any discussion?
Yeah, just curiosity, what was the primary reason that this was brought up? What was the focus of this? I had heard some information when you discussed it, and then in the actual agreement, I saw a lot of other items that were addressed. So where did this come from? Where did it originate from?
They approached us about, hold on, let me make sure I'm telling you the right thing. Okay, so this is a Laura thing. I'm meeting with them about food, and that's not this. So this, okay, yeah.
So,
Okay, so I think I must have been misunderstanding. I was probably thinking about the food thing as well that.
I can address that if you want me to do that. So I'm meeting with them, is it Thursday? No, it's next week. Next Thursday. They approached us about the food and said, is there any way we can get in on because we get universal free lunches and breakfast. Can we get in on that? And so the answer is yes, those are Liberty County kids within the county. So I'll meet with Ashley or John Ed or both, and so we'll go over that. They're looking at about 30 meals for breakfast, 30 meals at lunch, which increases our output down here by about 50%. So they will have to go through some training. Excuse me, they'll be part of when it's audited to they have to go through how to serve it and all kind of stuff. And so we'll hire a helper, because right now it's just Miss Sandy down there. And so we've got a plan for somebody to go in there and help out her in that, because she'll be doing, like I say, 50% more meals than she's doing now. So she'll need some help. Me and Stacy's talked with that, but we're going to meet with them and work out all the details. We'll go through what the training is and what that involves, and pretty sure they're going to do it, but that provides them free meals.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's great. So clarity on this. So because this is a private school within the district, there are certain things that the district is still responsible for in providing services for kids that are even in private schools. This is what this agreement is pertaining to, correct? Yeah. Okay.
Legislature
Right, I'm
needs
with you.
that.
I'm with
Yes.
does this add on to responsibilities for our food director and our food,
Mhm.
so when they go through the audits and all that, this will kind of be incorporated like another school? Oh, okay, wow.
Yeah.
Now, how are they
Same
gonna
account-
transport them
Come get them.
Okay, they
come
gotta
get 'em.
come get them.
And that's part of the training, how they transport, when they get them there, what do they do with them, temperatures, all
They
that.
do they have a kitchen to even
They do,
do this in or, okay?
they do. So that'll be part of the training. Stacy will do some training with all their people. And, but it is some extra responsibility, but there's, we get those reimbursable lunches, which should pay for, it may be a wash. It may be a wash time you hire somebody else,
Mm-hmm.
but I think it's a good thing.
Providing a service to kids within the district.
Yeah, that's right. Those are kids.
There's a lot of responsibility with that food and
It is.
All in favor, say aye.
Nah.
Opposed, motion carried. Move right on to item B. Need a motion to revise 25-26 Panhandle Area Education Consortium, Gateway Educational Computing, computing consultant project contract for district participation. Motion,
Motion.
Seaver, second, Mr. Singletary. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Move right on to item C. Need a motion to approve Panhandle Area Educational Consortium, PAEC Virtual Instruction Agreement, 25-26 school year. Have a motion?
Motion.
Jody,
Second.
second, Mr. Keever. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
No.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Moving on to item D. Need a motion to approve Panhandle Area Educational Consortium, TSA, contract agreement to commence July the 1st, 25 until June the 30th, 26 with Mickey Hudson directing the activities of the contract. Motion,
Motion.
Mr. Singletary, second, Mr. Keever. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving right along to item E. Need a motion to approve Panhandle Area Education Consortium, PAEC Risk Management Agreement for the 25-26 fiscal year. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Jody, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Morris. Any discussion?
I do have a question. If I understood right, pertaining to this risk management agreement, PAEC also conducts insurance services for us pertaining to employee insurance. Is that correct? And I asked kind of a rhetorical question to ask, where are we at? I know PAEC and the school districts what's the acronym? The school districts, whatever group.
Ads.
Yeah, there you go. For school, yeah. I know that both of those organizations were working on trying to bring in groups for insurance purposes to be able to lower insurance
Right.
costs. When is our open enrollment and how do we look at those figures to see about reducing insurance costs for our employees?
So a couple things. We're gonna be discussing that with Brian Moore on Thursday, who's the attorney for FADS. He's the one that is working on that. That's it, kind of his project. Montford's giving him that project to try to do. I don't know how popular that's gonna be, but it's worth it because of the size of the group. It's got to be talked about. So anyway, Thursday, we're in a room, all the superintendents, that actually come, there'll be some that will not come. That's on our agenda to discuss.
Yep.
Open enrollment is when everybody comes back. That's when we do that. And I believe the actual insurance contract year starts October 1, I think. And we have somebody who does that, Hub, I think it's a Hub. They've done it the last couple of years.
They're the agents that represent us?
They help broker that. They're not our official agent of record, but they serve a little bit in that capacity because they do some other insurance stuff for us.
It's basically a contracted service, is that the idea? Yeah.
Yeah, about every 3 or 4 years, we open that up and do an RF. And Jody loves to do it every year, but we've been doing it every 3, so no,
Did we put an option to renew?
we can. Did we or?
Did we? We can't now, but
I'll look.
see about that.
I'll look on that. I did change that on the gas thing, by the way. We got that changed on the gas, so.
Are we locked in to have to renew or is our choice
No,
desire
no.
with this?
Never.
Okay. The reason I brought this up several times is I've been in the middle of it professionally, and I know that there are captive solutions and group pooling that can significantly reduce costs. I mean, a lot of what I was seeing was about a 20 to 30% reduction in overall premiums that would directly affect the teachers. Do we know offhand, I'm sorry to just throw it out there, do we know offhand how many employees have insurance through the school?
I have of them.
So 100?
I'm close.
So, in other words, if we could negotiate these contracts, you're looking at potential raises for, I mean, like not payroll salary raises, but when you reduce the cost of insurance, you could have 100 people, get a benefit of being able to have more discretionary dollars. So I would love us to be able to look into what PAEC and the Superintendent's Association is doing to really.
Both are looking at what our options are.
Yeah.
Right now, there's 3 school districts with PAC but they go within, it's kind of hard to explain, but they're self-insured. So
Right.
Calhoun's been self-insured since '85, but they still go through, I think, Florida Blue, I believe it is.
Correct.
But they're self-insured. Now, the problem with that is if you have a catastrophic year, if you haven't purchased reinsurance, which I know they have, you
Right,
can,
that's
you can
exactly-
wipe out, you may save $1 million in 1 year. You may save $400,000 and looks good on paper, but you got to raise premiums, because if you don't and cover that, you can go in the hole if you had a catastrophic year. We had a catastrophic year a few years ago, but no, we were not self-insured when we had about 3 or 4 cancer patients that were, making a lot of claims, and that's fine. That's what it's there for. Walton just got on with PACs. They're self-insuring. Walton's always a good model for good business practice and everything, but they do have the ability in a bad year to write a check to bail themselves out. And Jackson County is the other one. They're on that, the self-insured plan.
So just some information. So there would be insurance purchase for a catastrophe, like saying the catastrophe with your premiums are so high, right? Because of somebody with a heart disease or cancer or something of that nature. But the dynamic of how that would work is you would take a certain amount of dollars, you would put a certain amount of dollars in a fund that's associated with insurance, right? And then you'd know that there would be a guaranteed maximum amount that you would pay in insurance. So the benefit would be the savings, right? Because you did not have a catastrophic event or events that maximize that cost, but you're still putting the dollars in that would be there. So in other words, the idea wouldn't be, oh, we had a bad year, now we got to come up with $500,000. It's a random number, and I probably shouldn't say it, but you're not going to have to write a check for a random dollar amount. You would have the money because you put the money in the account, and if it were a bad year, you would utilize that. If you had a good year, well, that would be in excess, right? That would be in that account to remain in that account. So basically, you can make the decision next year how you will want to adjust your premiums for your teacher that they're paying in, to decide if you keep the rate the same, decrease the rate that they pay the premium, or increase it based on the year. So in other words, this is a fine-tuned program and machine. It's happening in businesses and governments all over the nation, and it is a proven way to save substantial dollars. So I hope that we would really look into this to try to give our staff, our teacher staff, everyone, more of a cost savings, because when it's handled properly and when you get in the right pool or captive group, it will be. You can guarantee that you're not going to lose a dollar amount. You know what the cost would be, but you can have the opportunity to save a significant amount. And like I say, that the numbers that I was involved in, it was about a 20 to 30% savings. I mean, it's substantial. And the offside of that is you would would be still with the same major insurance company like a Florida Blue that's known everywhere. If you go out of state, you have coverage. You stay in state, you have coverage. They're handling those claims, and they're paid to handle those. So there's a lot to it. There's a whole lot to it. I'm not saying I'm an expert, but I do know that there's substantial saving there. And I do know that the district has a cost into those costs. And if we want to save money in the next year, that's a great opportunity to save money in the budget to do it.
So we had something quite similar. When I first got on the board, we had United Healthcare. And then we contracted with Michael Richter. We got Aetna, and Aetna was a worldwide, nationwide type coverage type things. There was a huge push from the staff to want CHP, just because of the network, the cost, and all of that. So when you put your eggs in the CHP basket, then there's a lot of people that love CHP. They love the convenience. They love the $15 copays. And some of that would be subject to change. A lot of insurance companies, when you do an RFP, RFQ, for something like that, they'll come in and they'll do what they do. And Aetna was one of them. They give us 0% premium increases for about 3 or 4 years, and then they bumped up about 20%. So it's a game. We've been playing it for a long time. And so I'm for having the group that has some buying power, whether that be FADS, whether it be PAC, or just us alone. It's hard with 100 people to have any buying power.
By number.
It's really
That's right.
difficult. Yeah.
Totally agree, but I think we needed to put, for the subject matter expert for the board, I'm gonna nominate Mason.
Hey, you making fun of me?
No, you've done this. I know you done it. I mean, I know you were knee deep in it. I know how detailed you were into it. So, we do need that kind of expertise. I mean, on our team, it will be a good asset.
And I'm gonna second that. Any help, look, I welcome that. I've gone over there. I've negotiated. I've taken them Tupelo hunting. I guess it was 3 years ago, it was, 12%. 12%. When I left out of there, it was 6%. They cut it in half. Left them a lot of honey.
We just need,
Uh,
we do.
Sang them,
need some-
took my guitar, sang them a song, please, y'all need to help a brother out, HBO, but it takes that. Look, it's like all of us that buy vehicles, look, either they gonna get the money, you gonna keep the money, what you wanna do. So I agree with that. Our issue is buying power, and so I hope we get some information Thursday from Brian. He's supposed to have us some and has told us as such, where if we have enough, I've told them, yes, we're interested. Put us in there. Let's see what that looks like. So they're running numbers now, and PAC is doing the same thing to see if we can get some buying power.
I still think that the legislature, we talk about giving teachers raises and trying to keep good teachers, but having good benefits is key to that. And if we could tap into the states,
Yeah, they're not gonna do it.
I know they're not gonna do it. And I'm sorry, I still feel very strong about that. Why? This makes absolutely no sense. You get FRS, but you don't give them
into
insurance.
that.
I don't believe it.
They subsidize the other.
Well, I got a question on the healthcare deal since we're on that tip. Just to give a point, just say we got 100 employees that are on that.
Mhm.
What's gonna happen if the other 100 sign up for coverage? What's that do? What does that do? What does that do to our budget?
I agree, but I think the state should take it.
Yeah, I understand that. That's what I'm saying. I'm just giving
The
everybody.
district take it. I'm saying the state should take it
I'm just
and do it just like they do with state employees. Treat us just like they do state employees.
So I'm telling you,
I know,
they make money on that.
I know.
I've talked with Al Lawson, Marty Coley, her husband before he passed. I've talked with all of them. And they will tell you real quick, there's so many teachers in Florida, we have to subsidize that. Here's what they'll say, the state worker has the same CHP program insurance that you got. The issue is the state they subsidize
They do.
80% of it.
Right.
And
They do.
that's the difference. It's
They do.
still CHP.
800,000 employees too.
And I was told
Yeah.
that they would never insure or pay that amount of the premium for the
Teachers.
Florida schools.
For Florida
So
school.
there's so many.
And here's the conversation you have. And this is the bad thing about this is a bad thing about term limits. You have that conversation with somebody and guess what? 6 years, 8 years, I'm preaching choir. That group leaves, then you start that and they go, well, let's see what, and in 8 years
I
I've
totally
been through
agree.
that cycle. Doobie's been through it probably 5 times now.
I had a new representative. I went to him and said, hey, we've got to do something about insurance. And he was like, state don't pay that? I said.
He didn't know.
He
Didn't
did
know.
not know. So,
Right.
there you go.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, sorry.
Yeah, sorry to get sideways. Through this.
Favor say aye.
Ah,
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on, item F, need a motion to approve performance contract for exceptional student education consultative services with the Liberty County School Board and the Washington County School Board representing the Panhandle Area Education Consortium, PAEC, from July the 1st, 25 to June the 30th, 26. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Keever, Singletary?
Beaver.
Keith.
I'm sorry, Keever. Second,
second.
motion, Moore,
Mhm.
any discussion? All in favor say aye. Opposed, motion carried. Item G, need a motion to approve 25-26 dual enrollment articulation agreement between the Chipola College Board of Trustees and Liberty County School Board. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Jody, second.
Second.
Keeper, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next, item H, need a motion to approve property disposition list. Have a motion?
Motion.
Moore, second, Mr. Keever. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item I, need a motion to approve service contract for the Liberty County Sheriff's Office to provide security for children and staff during the normal business hours, 21st CCLC, June the 9th, 25 through July the 24th of 25. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Keever, second.
Second.
Singletary, any discussion?
Don't we have a deputy day? Where is he at?
Yes.
Okay, got a deputy day coming up, don't we?
They did it at Toller last year, was gonna do it at Hosford, and I don't have the date, and I'm sorry. 26th, June 26th?
June 26th.
June 26th. They were gonna do it at Hosford this year, and they had talked about switching, but I think this year they got some helicopters and stuff, and there's more room at Toller, so they're gonna do it back at Toller, and we'll bus kids over there.
We don't, can we just
They
get
start
some,
at 9 or what? They start at 9 in the morning or? Seems like it's.
it's early, it's
I'll
pretty
I'll
early.
send y'all some.
Okay, thank you.
Or in the Dunkin', but
They've made a flyer. I'll send that out.
I didn't get to get in it last year.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, motion carries. Item J, need a motion to approve contract for service between Capital Solution LLC and the Liberty County School District for the 25-26 school fiscal year. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Keever, second.
Second.
Second, Ms. Jody. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item K, need a motion to approve 25-26 Gerber base student accident policy. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Jody, second.
second.
Second, Mr. Morris. Any discussion?
I do have a question. Does the PAEC not offer these services like risk management and insurance?
They do all that. That's
All
through
So
PHC.
this is through PAEC?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Next item M. Need a motion to approve. You have a motion?
Hell.
L.
Sorry about that. Item L, need a motion to approve Appalachian Forest Youth Camp AFYC instructional calendar for the 25-26 fiscal year. Motion. Motion, Mr. Singletary, second.
Second.
Second, Ms. Jody. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
No.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item M, need a motion to approve summer hours for Britt Day to provide ESE extended school year speech language service to also include pre-K and child fine screening to students with disabilities. Have a motion?
Motion.
Seaver, second.
Second.
Singletary, any discussion?
How many kids on average are we having this done? I know one year we had 3, another year we had 2. I mean, is that just the norm or do we have an outreach of more children for the screening or?
She screens all of them. It is. Mhm. Yeah.
I was just wondering because I see, the hours, I'm just wondering, is that enough hours to take care of?
So the brunt of them's been done in the spring, and this will be for summer work.
That's just it.
Mhm. And it's up to 33 hours. You may not use all of that, but,
It just seems like that's not very many hours.
well, what I'm saying, a lot of the screenings have already took place. We did them here a couple weeks ago.
So if there were more hours needed, we'd basically have to put it back on the agenda is what we do and we go from there.
Anything in excess of 33, that's why we say up to 33.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Item M, need a motion to approve to create advertised position, summer bridge pre-K teacher. Have a motion?
Motion.
Seaver, second. Singletary, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
No.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item O, need a motion to approve superintendent travel expenditures for attendance to FSBA FAD Summer Joint Leadership Conference June 11th through the 13th in Tampa, Florida. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Jody, second, Mr. Keever. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item P. Need approval nomination of board member and business owner to represent the Liberty County School Board on the Value Adjustment Board for the 25-26 term. Have a motion?
Motion.
Who we gonna nominate? Second,
Who?
I do it.
Booth?
I do it.
This Man with the
Boy.
plan.
I do it every year. I do it again.
I nominate him.
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item Q, need a motion to approve nomination of Florida School Board Association District Advisory Committee Representative and alternate for the term of July the 1st, 25 through June the 30th, 26. Have a nomination?
Mr. Chair, I nominate Mr. Mason Keever.
Keever.
I second.
Motion second, Mr. Keever. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Good job, Mason.
Mr.
Need a
Mr.
second.
Chair,
Alternate. You're alternate.
Alternate, yeah.
Mr.
Bailey for
Alternate.
alternate, yeah.
Who'd you nominate?
Bailey.
I was gonna nominate Mr. Singletary and leave and.
Can I get
I
a
second.
Motion, Mr.
Wait,
Jody,
I got
second.
confused.
We nominated Mason as the
Yeah.
one on top, you as the alternate.
Alternate.
Then you know
All in
Mason.
favor, say aye.
Short. Aye.
Any- Motion carried. Jody, let it get away from you.
Don't go that too, boy.
Item 10, emergency items. Need a motion. Item A, need a motion to approve superintendent travel expenditures for attendance to the district threat management coordinated training in St. Augustine Florida, June the 23rd to the 25th. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Ms. Jody, second.
Second.
Second, Mr. Morris. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Next item B, need a motion to approve the 25-26 CHP Champions Program Consolidated Agreement. Have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Morris, second.
Second.
Second, Ms. Jody, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Next item 11, board member concerns, Mr. Keever.
All right, y'all, so I only have
3 minutes.
one group of questions and things to mention. I'll try to be quick. So I had heard, and I'm curious if this is correct, is this the 50th anniversary of the football field? Has anybody heard that?
I have heard that,
This
but I don't,
year number 50. Would you? Mr. Ricky Brown is the one that told me. So if it is, I thought that was,
now that you mention it, he did mention that to me too.
so,
I think was James on that, in that group?
Yes.
James Flowers?
Yes, yes.
I don't know who all was, but I mean, I think that's a pretty interesting fact and, maybe something to think about for, homecoming alumni, doing something special. I know the Booster Club's gonna plan on, doing something like that. So it'd probably be an interesting thing. And I find it interesting, this the 50th year for the field and then year number 1 for the new field house. That's kind of, funny how that fell. So I think that just the FYI on there, maybe we want to, do something, recognize that sometime during the football season. So a question as far as discussion on the raises, conversation on that for the non-instructional positions, is that something that we would anticipate having on our agenda? July meeting? Okay, that's perfect. Let's see here. So I was contacted by a couple of individuals, and I personally think this is a great idea. It was a conversation about having EMS on the sidelines at the football games. So instead of an ambulance with two like a paramedic or somebody like that, sitting in the ambulance on the sideline or technically by the fence, waiting to be called out if an event should happen. They proposed a possible agreement between the school district and the county commission where an ambulance would be there not to be called out. There'd be one individual that would remain in the ambulance and that there would be, say, a paramedic on the sideline at each home game at all times. So if somebody's down on the field, something happens, you have somebody, a trained professional that can radio to the ambulance. They can go out if somebody's down, say, hey, no, you got a boo-boo, or hey, no, you got a major concussion. We're going to need to wheel you off this field and do something about it. I know that happened just in the last game we had. Actually, one of our players had such a bad concussion they had to take him off in the ambulance. So it seems like this is year 2 in a row now that there's been a serious event happen, and in my personal opinion, it could be a very good idea to do that. Now, the conversation I had, and this is preliminary, there could be a cost to us, basically a cost of paying for those 2 people. And the county might donate the fuel and the truck to be there. The talk was about $400 per game. There's 7 games that are going to be home. So you're looking at, just under $3,000 to have, say, a EMT paramedic stand on the sideline, somebody in a truck waiting. I personally think that's a good idea. I would love us to explore that option. If you wouldn't mind, Superintendent, if you could get with the county to talk about what that dynamic would look like. I would hope that we could come up with $2,800, something like that, to be able to have somebody on the sideline. I think it'll be a great idea, a great gesture, and maybe be a trendsetter for other counties to do the same. So when we go away, they have somebody standing on the sideline to address our people. So, this would be just for home games, like I say, but hopefully we can be a trendsetter and have that happen on our away games, to have somebody there to take care of the guys if something should happen.
I want to address the situation that happened at the spring games. I've talked to Melissa Petty. She and I actually have had some of this conversation. I'm going to provide them some walkie-talkies. And that way, there was a little confusion. Do they need us? Do they not need us?
Yeah.
That kind of stuff. That we can communicate with them, come on out, y'all know I'm in the press box. So I have, I've got good communication there, but it's easy, we need you out here now, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
A lot of times they usually are watching what's going on, and when they see somebody, like we happened back in the fall, they came on out. So that's one thing I told her we could do is get them some, and they can give them back to us at the end of the game. But for that game, they've got that. I know in the past, they have had to leave for a call somewhere in the county.
That's right.
Bill, Campbell is an EMT person, so it may be such where, I know last year the ambulance left to make a county run, and I called Bill from the press box. I said, Bill, you are now the designated EMT person on site. Now we have a bunch of medical gear on the sidelines. We may want to beef that up. There's a something bag, they call it I don't know, there's a name for it that they take out there with them, but he is certified, EMT. So that gives us an option there with our SRO that could handle that if we need. But I wanted to make sure when that person left, I squirmed and, that we got to have, but I always know that he's that. And he said, got it. So that way, if you had any injury, Bill would be the first one out there. As far as ambulances, getting somebody there quick, that's going to be the thing, and I'll have that conversation with the county. Are they going to leave to go make a run? Let somebody in hospital's having a heart attack. They're going to leave that football game to go over there.
Right now, that's correct. They are. The conversation that I had is there would be a designated ambulance. It would not go. So in other words, when they roll in, the ambulance is there to stay.
Sure.
The person on the sidelines there to stay. There's no communication about who's doing what. They know their job is to look after an injured kid.
Sure.
And they stay there. They don't go anywhere. If a kid gets a concussion, a stinger or something like that, they're going to be like, hey, listen, no, you're going to stay right here.
Right.
And they're going to see to that person, make sure they don't make their way back on the field, being dazed, not knowing
Yeah.
where they're at. I think it would just be an easier setup scenario for safety wise, rather than us trying to bring our gear and trying to bulk up our equipment and what we have. I mean, they've got everything they need.
Right.
I mean, they're set. It just logistically, it would make sense. I appreciate, you having those conversations, and I definitely like to see them continue. But
Sure, we will.
I would certainly like to see it happen where ambulance there, it stays. You got somebody on the sideline, they stay. There's no question on who's doing what or what responsibility lies where.
Got it.
So
Can do it.
that was just something that was brought up to me, and I agree with. If I can make a request now pertaining to the workshops that are coming up, it sounds like we'll have the June 30th meeting and workshops. Definitely love to discuss the budget. Absolutely want to discuss the buses. I would absolutely like to discuss grant writing and RFP for grant writing and how that would look. I would like to discuss safety issues, like the immediate items that need to be addressed safety-wise for our kids going into the next year. Those are a few of the conversations I definitely like in to discuss in the workshops coming up, if you don't mind.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm 1 of 5. Love y'all. But that's just my opinion. Miss Jody or Jason can agree, disagree with it when we move on. I think, y'all, that might be the end of my group of questions. Also, if we can, during that workshop, I would personally like to discuss on the front end what we might want to discuss for raises for the teacher. I know numbers are pending. I would like to discuss that conversation prior to the whole collective bargaining at the beginning of budget. Just what we see right now, or kind of anticipate based on averages and where we fell. Obviously, when hard numbers come, that would be.
So we need to have that conversation in executive session.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as far as general budget, where do we sit for the year? What do we anticipate? Where are we going to have to cut? Where are we going to have to add? Those general conversations. So something general as it pertains to budget as a whole, that might be something that when we have an executive session, there'd be a specific number.
Okay.
So that's. So thank y'all. Love y'all. I appreciate everybody. That was some great times we just saw. It's a beautiful thing to see somebody put so much of their life into something and care about somebody so much. So I think it was great to see those retirees going into the next phase of life. So appreciate everybody, all the hard work of the admin, everybody working hard during the summer. Thank y'all. Appreciate our athletes out there right now training for football, baseball, softball. They represent our schools well. I appreciate those kids working hard, and the teachers and everybody and all that they do. So thank you all.
Jody.
Okay. I think it was actually on the last meeting minutes. Kevin, I had asked, do we have a lot of outstanding work orders right now for maintenance that we are, gotta be preparing for before the year starts?
Sent y'all the list.
Oh, you sent the list? I am so sorry.
Get it?
I don't know, son. I'd have to look.
I got it. I got it.
Okay, okay,
Katie in it. And then a day or two after the meeting.
Yeah, it was just a few days. after.
okay.
But
Sorry about
there's
that.
not a bunch that's not budgeted for.
Okay,
But there was a few. I put them on the list. I emailed them to you, and then I sent you the list of what, we would like to do over the years or could do.
cool. I'll go back and look at that, Kevin. I apologize.
I can send it again because
Yeah, I can go back. It's fine.
but it was not a bunch work order wise.
Yeah.
Roof at Hosford, a few things like that, but there's not a lot.
Okay.
But there is a lot of items on that list that we need to do.
And we need,
Not work order wise.
Wish.
I got you. Yeah, that's what we kind of talked about.
It needs to be done.
But-
It needs to be done.
But
too.
we need to kind of maybe prioritize a little, you know what I mean? Like go back and say, okay, this has got to be done. This may be a safety issue, okay.
Break it down by school for y'all and then y'all
Okay.
can do with it what you want.
All right, cool, thank you.
I'm sorry about that. I think when on that list, we need to put KW beside the one, say, hey, these, in your opinion, since you're the director of maintenance,
Prioritize.
look, these gotta be done. If they're not done, we're going to shut school down, whatever. Put your name beside and say, this has got to be done.
Or put it in red and say, hey, this is important. These are top priorities. Calhoun Liberty Hospital grand opening July 31st. Did everybody get that notification? Okay. That's a big deal, guys, for our small counties. See a good representation there. I think that's all I
Have
have.
a time for that? I haven't seen that.
You had the RSVP.
I'll find it, Jody. Don't worry about it.
I
I'll find
think
it.
there is a time.
We got time. Yeah, I'll find it. Thank you.
It's 9 a.m., 10 a.m. our time.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. And I went ahead and confirmed it to RSVP.
Okay.
That's all I have, boss. Go ahead.
Thank you for retirees and thank you, Miss Katie and all for what y'all do up here. And I know the next couple of months gonna be grinding, and I appreciate all y'all. Thank y'all. So that too. See it.
Thank y'all, everybody. And I know y'all are fixing to be working your tails off and I appreciate it. Kevin called you before now, but where are we at? And you may have told me in the last meeting or us, but where are we at on the softball field on the bleachers?
Can't get anybody to give us a bid. We have that one bid.
Deal right there. And Dane, is that his name? He's not gonna do it.
Katie's talked to him. He said he was and he hasn't. So with everything.
So we're trying to move forward, but nobody will cooperate.
And we got 80, how much we got left? That bid was 80.
Yeah, she
Okay.
sent it to us, but I can't remember off my head either.
Okay.
Top of my head.
9-ish.
When does that money have to be spent, Kyle?
I think we have to end of the year to spend it. There is a deadline, yes. There is.
End of-
End of
Talking about June
fiscal
30th?
year or?
Oh, no.
Okay.
Next June, yes, sorry.
Oh, Lord.
So I'll talk to other people. We might can negotiate more with the price that, Culpeper got for us from,
Back
Okay.
to it.
Yeah,
Max and Cook.
Yeah.
They's the one that gave the price,
They were,
They were way up there. Kyle Rogers said he's seen some stuff that'd be taken off. Might could talk to them and y'all know anybody else that talk to everybody I know. I'll hit Dane up again and see.
I don't know, really, I can't.
It's just so hard to you're gonna get a 60-day or 30-day price probably is all you're gonna get.
Yeah.
Because the
Yeah.
metal, the way everything is, they're not gonna give you a concrete price for 6 months.
just had to buy, if we get a bid we like, we just had to buy all the material and put it somewhere until he could get to it.
And that's something else. If y'all, if you think you're gonna do it, buy the material, cause it's gonna keep going up. It just is.
Yeah, where are we gonna
Well,
start
we
at?
don't know if we're gonna need to buy it for somebody or buy it already built.
I've even contacted other bleacher companies trying to do.
I know you-
On the side.
Can't get it, they were
I
short.
know you've been on top of it. I just hadn't heard from you in a while on it.
I've tried, and I'll make a point tomorrow to contact him again. Tell him, please, we can negotiate with it, whatever. He's the only one that's gave us any interest. I was at Mr. Petty's office and we called him. We've done everything we can.
All right, that's all I got.
Well, Miss Kathy and, Miss Becky, I'm gonna tell you both of them, when they come over here, this will just kind of reiterate what kind of women they are and how they've been in the school system. And both of them, when they come around, we, hug, hey, good job. Both of them didn't ask anything, but how about your kids? How they doing now? They're more worried about them kids that they're grown and out, and that's the kind of people they are, and that touches your heart. And I hate to see both of them go. And I know Doobie's he's got a to-do list that's kind of like that boy's rap sheet the other night that they got in the drug bust. We'll get to the end of it, so.
One day.
I do appreciate all y'all, and I know how hard summers get around here, and there's so much work done in the summers from our group, Kyle, Renee, Jeff, Miss Katie, everybody. It don't stop, even for IT and everything, everybody's summer's a catch-up phase, and it just grin and bear it, and it gets very tough, and I appreciate y'all for what you do. That's all I got.
12 closing comments, not 13, need a motion to adjourn.
Motion.
Jody made a motion, second.
Second.
Meeting now adjourned.
Before y'all leave, guys,
No.
school board members,
No.
y'all tell me a good day for y'all for that fish fry, then I can
Do you want me to start an email?